What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are going to be covering the Sandbox, as its price is doing something very similar to what we have been expecting over the last few days, especially as things have been getting a bit rowdy. So with that being said, of course, let's go ahead and let's jump straight into today's video. No BS, no fluff, none of that extra stuff. Let's just go ahead and let's get straight to the point. So what we're taking a look at with Sandbox today is the fact that we are still within, of course, our descending wedge. Now, realistically, there's really nothing too exciting to talk about once we see these descending wedges, because we're really just focused on waiting for that breakout. Now, realistically, when we see these descending wedges forming off an uptrend, they have tendencies. Let's go ahead and say it like that. They have tendencies to make these moves to the downside before boom, breaking to the upside. Okay. Well, of course, the price kind of trickle and it goes down, and we maybe see a little fake out here, but they usually break to the upside. Kind of looking at some previous examples, we can see it on all time frames. Even on the smaller 4-hourly time frames, we can see key examples here in which we will see, this little move, bam, break to the upside. Even if we're looking at something a little bit more extensive, something similar to this, we can see here that boom, we come down, we put this in, bang, 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 we break out to the upside. You can see this is a beautiful example of a back test of support. We broke to the upside, came down, back test of support, continuation to the upside. Or even on these extremely small descending wedges, it's a similar story in which we will usually see, of course, these breakouts to the upside that lead to the continuations to the top side. So with that being said, of course, what I'm expecting is that at some given point we'll break out to the upside here. Now, the only exception to this is the fact that we had this really big wick to the downside, and that could somehow start to invalidate this level of support. Now, it does seem like since we came back and saw a successful retest of not only this bottom level of support, but also this previous level of resistance, it definitely seems as if this area is holding up well. But I would say that if we start to come back down towards 430 to 440 and we backtest this area, we may need to be careful, because somehow this could have caused some type of invalidation that could lead to this bottom side support failing. Okay, so we just need to be a bit aware of that. We need to be careful of that, but it's not something I'm too concerned about at the moment, because again, I still do believe that we can see this continuation to the upside. Now, the reason I say that is because although I do believe that the market is set to kind of trickle down a little bit more, I know that we've seen gaming cryptos in the last few months kind of going against the grain. Whenever we see the market dropping, they have a tendency to sometimes just do whatever they want. And so although looking at something like Total 2, which is just the total market cap of all cryptos, although I am under the impression that we're likely going to see the prices kind of falling back down a little bit more, closer to where we put in some of these lows, there is still a chance that we see Sand kind of taking its own route and seeing this breakout to the upside sooner than the rest of the market. So what I'm looking at for Sand right now is that as long as we are staying above this level of support here, I'm expecting this break to the upside. Now, look, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell the future, but I'm just kind of giving you guys what's within the realm of possibilities and what I think is the most probable. And I think what is the most probable is that we come down and we do find maybe even a retest here before a breakout to the upside or something of that nature. Even if we just keep trickling down within this wedge for the rest of this month, I'm under the belief that we do start to see that breakout to the upside. So there's two things that I personally do when we see the breakout to the upside. So now that we know what we're looking for, which is again just that move, right? We want to get above this level and hold it. What I'm looking for personally is let's give it three things. Thing number one is that once we see the breakout, of course, that is kind of where my first little buy may come in. Say if my average is somewhere up here, which it's not. My average is like right here, actually. But say if, my average is somewhere up here and I'm looking to dollar cost average. Personally speaking, I'm not going to average in until we see at least a break of the downtrend. It doesn't really make much sense to me to be buying while we're still in a confirmed downtrend. That just is kind of throwing away money. So step number one, I would do a little bit of dollar cost averaging on the break of the trend. Okay, so that's number one. So let's say something like this happened. Let's draw this out. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so this is what could happen. So what I'm looking for, this will be buy number one for me. Now, typically speaking, this is going to be one of my smaller buys on the break there, because there's so much that has to happen to confirm this, okay? We've seen times where we've wicked out, not even got the closeout, and it's come back down. So buying on a break is very risky if you're putting a lot in. Now, the second thing that I would be looking for is where do we go from there? There's two options. The second thing that could happen is we come back to back test this previous level of resistance as support, see an RS flip, S flip, and then we use this level of support to continue to the upside. If we get a confirmed level of support establishment, I would be looking to make a second buy right here. Now, my third buy and my largest buy would actually come from the moment that we see a break of the 0.786 Fibonacci from our highest most recent swing high, which is in this example up towards 850, to the lowest most recent swing low in which we've put in, which in this case was down towards 317. And from there, once we clear the 786 to 618 zone, we have a tendency to see these really large extensions to some of our fib extensions. In this example, could be up towards $11 to $12. And so since this is such a strong level of confirmation, I would be waiting to do a lot of my buying until we were to clear this level. So yeah, I'll buy a little here, maybe even buy a little bit here, but that's where my big buy comes in. So what I'm expecting with Sandbox and the way I'm playing it is I'm setting it out in those three forms: the breakout, the establishment of support, and the confirmation. And that's the way in which I would be playing this thing in order to go forward. Now, of course, I'm just kind of talking about the what ifs today. I'm not really focused on too much considering the fact that we are within a consolidationary event, but I do want you guys to start to learn these things and to be able to implement them into other cryptos, or be able to start to build game plans for once we do start to see possible and hopeful, of course, break of trends from these trend lines. So realistically, in the next video, we're going to take a look at some divergences we're seeing on the charts. We're seeing a little bit from the RSI, seeing a little bit from the MACD. So in tomorrow's video, we'll go a little bit more on some of our indicators. But in today's video, I kind of wanted to give you all my game plan, how I'm planning to play out this entire descending wedge and what I'm expecting from it. So of course, with that being said, that's going to be about it for today's video. Of course, I hope you guys do enjoy these short and straight to the point videos. If you do and you think other people would enjoy them, all you really have to do is just like it. I'm not going to ask you to share it. I'm not going to ask you to post it on Twitter or anything. If you could just like it, I'm pretty sure the algorithm will just push it out to more people, and it would do me a huge favor. So if you could do that, that would be absolutely amazing, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.